Mickey Smith Jr. is one of the most dynamic educators and musicians today. A recipient of numerous awards, Mickey's work and music has been recognized by various organizations, including the Recording Academy, the Grammy Foundation. As a saxophonist, speaker, and author, his music and message embodies a level of expression that resonates with ensembles and audiences alike. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me introduce Mr. Mickey Smith Jr. Mickey?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
You know, as an educator, I'm reminded of so many things. Children teach me sometimes, I think more sometimes I even teach them. Because every day I wake up is like a classroom. Every opportunity I get is more than just an opportunity to teach, but it's to reach. Not just to instruct, but to inspire. That's what I see my opportunity as an educator. And the good news is every opportunity brings about another opportunity for another opportunity. And that's a lesson that I try to teach my young people each day. Realizing that every child is one sound adult away from discovering their sound of success. But what is that sound? When you talk about the sound, it's there for all of us to hear. Each and every one of us has a sound, but you gotta be quiet. You gotta listen for it. You have to ask yourself, have I turned down the noise? Because in this thing called life, if you listen carefully, you can hear a sound like none other. Sometimes I hear the sound when I'm walking down the street. I hear the birds chirp. Sometimes I hear the sound even when I'm walking. I can even hear a sound sometimes, even when we're talking. Even when we're talking. Y'all say it with me. Even when we're talking. And somebody might be out there thinking, well, I don't have a sound. I don't play a saxophone, but I gotta be honest with you, my sound is not my saxophone alone. My sound is my unique personal significance. Our children's sound is their unique personal significance. It's that thing that says you're loved, you're valued, you're wanted. It's that thing that identifies you as strongly as a thumbprint that you possess. I've seen folks that could work a calculator the way that I just got down on the sax. I've seen secretaries send an email with the same eloquence as a poet such as Maya Angelou. What I'm telling you is your sound may not be a saxophone. It may be your smile. It may be the way that you can engage an audience. It may be the joy that you bring into a room. But whatever it is, you have a sound. Don't discount your sound. You have to ask yourself, what's my sound? And the reason you have to ask yourself the question is because there's a world out there that deserves to hear that sound. There's a next generation that's desperately listening, wanting to know where they fit in that sound. That's why today I don't see an audience, spectators. I see a symphony. I see a collection of individuals who, if we come together, we can create a sound like no other. That's the beauty of community. That's what I get to do each and every day when I go into that band hall. I'm showing our young people that it's not just about music. It's not about subject matter, it's showing them that they matter. And we've got kids in this community that need to know that they're loved, that they're valued, and that they're wanted more than anything else. Kids don't care how much you know until they know that you actually care. That's the sound that our community needs to make. That's the sound that each and every one of us can. And the beautiful thing is, nobody can make your sound like you can. So it's not a competition, it's a collection. It's a symphony, as I said before. It's a matter of us banding together. But when you ask yourself about the sound, I want you to consider 5 things today. They're simple things. I call it the sound check. Y'all say sound check for me. We're going to do a sound check, right? So anytime you get ready to take the stage, typically they'll do a little sound check. They'll make sure the mic is right. They'll make sure everything is tight so that everything works well that night. And the same thing is true for me and you. Before we step out into this thing called the world, before we engage anyone on any level, we have to ask ourselves, have we done the sound check? And when we talk about sound, it's an acronym, S-O-U-N-D. The S stands for this: see yourself beyond yourself. What do I mean by that? It's one of the things that I try to teach and preach more to my students than anything else, that we all have shortcomings. We all can find fault, but don't give up on yourself. Live each day like it's a gift that it is, the precious present, the now. Legacy is now. It's not necessarily tomorrow in the past. It's what you do right now. But the fact of the matter is, you've got to be able to see past whatever imperfection you think stifles you. See, so many of our young people, when I teach them, I find out they talk a lot about haters or the enemy. But the fact of the matter is, it's the enemy that messes them up more than anything. It's that inability to get past the failures. But what I try to tell my students is this: it's okay to make failures, as long as you don't make the fail yours. But so many times they hold on to that stuff, and that's when you feel the anger, because they haven't gotten past that hurt. And the fact of the matter is, mistakes, it's like it's a beautiful mosaic that creates this beautiful picture. Our lives are full of mistakes, but it's the mistakes, the missed opportunities that hold us back. So our ability to see beyond ourselves is a game changer. That's the S. O stands for operating optimism and excellence daily. Now, some folks may say, make it as simple. That sounds like one of those fake it till you make it things. And I like the whole fake it till you make it. That's good. Some folks, depending on your perspective, might say faith it till you make it. But I want you to consider one more thing. I want you to challenge that young person, challenge yourself to face it till you make it. Because the fact of the matter is, what you have on the inside of you is already more than enough. That's something I struggled with for so long. I didn't realize that the sounds that I had, if I just stuck in there and worked them out, eventually they would become the sounds that would bring me before kings and queens. It would bring me to places that I would have never imagined. It's not anyone else's sound. It's the sound that I already possess. I just have to operate in that optimism and excellence daily. Why? Because you're attractive. Meaning whatever you put out, that's what you're going to get. As a teacher, I understand that I'm not just a thermometer, but I'm a thermostat for my classroom. I set the atmosphere, meaning I can have students that can be something else in somebody else's class. But when they come to my class, if I do my job and I set that environment, I set that tone, then I can create an atmosphere where they feel safe, where they feel like they can be nurtured, where they feel like they're loved, valued, and wanted. And the fact of the matter is, we all have a classroom. We all have a space, we all have a stage where we can share that sound. U stands for utilize all available resources. It's simple. Nothing works until you work it. And the fact of the matter is, we have so many incredible things right here in Southwest Louisiana. We have an incredible community right here. There's so many untapped resources that are just waiting to be discovered. You're looking at one of them. I was a little fella that used to play out in the woods in a little town called Mossville. Nobody saw any value until one day I had a high school band director that said, hey, man, that's nice. Let me show you what to do with that. Untapped resource. How many other untapped resources are there? Had it not been for that individual and other sound adults just like him, I would have never been the first in my family to go to college and finish college and go on to travel the world. I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress this upon you. Every child is one sound adult away from discovering their success. Will you be the sound to change their world? N stands for nourish relationships. In this thing called the sound, I encourage you to band together. Come together, lift your brother up, lift your sister up, lift your neighbor up, lift that child up. It still takes a village. Because as sweet as that sound is, when I put it together with the rhythm section, with the drum, with the vocals, it makes a beautiful, beautiful work of art that could not be, it couldn't even be described fully by its one sound, but by the sum of all the parts. That's what we all bring together, nourishing those relationships. And then lastly, D stands for don't stop. Keep on going. Sometimes that's where the greatest victories happen. It's not about how strong or how fast folks are. Sometimes it's just a matter of not giving up, not quitting. Keep on going. That's what my mom told me, because when I first started playing, I gotta be honest with you, the first sound was amazing. I put that horn in my lips. Well, it was amazing and terrible, I guess I should say. It was pretty bad, it was pretty bad. Matter of fact, it was so bad, my mom said these words. She said, hey, keep on going. As she opened up the door and sent me outside. See, some of y'all ain't got nobody in bed. I'm telling you, that's how it was out there. They sent me outside. And I went outside and I went to go play that sound again. And my mom stuck her head out the door. She said, hey, keep on going. I said, Mama, that's the driveway. She said, I know, go. So I go down the driveway. I kid you not, I get all the way to the end of the driveway and I go to make that sound. My mom stuck her head out the window. She said, hey, keep on going. I said, Mama, that's the woods across the street. She said, I know, go. True story. And I tell my students that story because oftentimes kids think things happen instantaneous. And they don't understand that there's no such thing as overnight success, but there is over life success. And if you keep on going, then you too can accomplish this and even more, but you can't quit. And what I learned in that lesson was this, and I tell the students, they're like, man, you didn't get mad when your mom told you that? I said, no, number one, because you just didn't get mad at Mama. It was a different day. You didn't do that. Mama said, keep on going, you kept going. But number two, I tell them this, Mama never said stop. The more I think about it, she never said stop. She simply said, what, y'all? And after a while, that message, if you say something enough, it gets into the heart. After a while, I began to tell myself that, because when I was in those woods, y'all say it with me, keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going.
Stop. Keep on going.
I needed y'all out there in the woods, man. Everybody was clapping that shit. And I tell my students, you know, as tough as something may be, if you just don't quit, if you keep on going, it's going to be a beautiful reward. But sometimes they're not at a place where they can tell themselves that yet. That's where we come in. We have to be the sound adults that can show them how to achieve that sound. And that's what I want to leave you with on this song here. It's a song that I wrote that fits perfectly for this moment. It's a song that I wrote for one of my young people, one of my students. And the message is simple. It says, let us be the sound to change the world. And I hope you enjoy it. Can you hear the sound, the heartbeat, that motherly shine? As we search for love, we all need warmth of a smile. So there's a sound that is so sweet when we hear it, child, you belong. So let our words of love flow freely, like a river stream, and let us be that sound, oh, to change the world. Let us be that sound to change the world. Let us be sound to change the world. Oh, let us be. Oh, let us be. Can you hear the sound, heartbeat, that mother's child? As we search for love, we all need warmth of a smile.